Okay, y'all, it's the holiday time and you want to get something on that table that is absolutely beautiful and delicious. Well, your table will not be complete without this Boozin cranberry and pear brie Croute. It is such a delicious, delicious little dish to put on your table as an entree, but it's going to be gone before you know it. So you might want to make 2 or 3 of them. Okay, so let's get over here on the stove and the counter and see how we put this beautiful holiday dish together. We're going to start this recipe by getting our brie put into the freezer for about 30 minutes before we start to put this dish together, because we want it to get hard so that it would be a little bit easier to handle when we get to the part where we have to cut it. So into the freezer the brie goes, and we're getting over on the stove to start this compote, okay? In my heavy saucepan, I have 1½ Bosc pears that I've already diced up. And after I diced them up, I put a tablespoon of this Grand Marnier in there while they were sitting so they could absorb some of that before I started to cook them. Okay, so to that, I'm adding a cup of cranberries, fresh cranberries there. All right? And that's going to give it that real Christmassy look, you know. Now to that, I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. Now, if you have pie seasonings or apple pie seasoning, I invite you to go ahead and use that. But me, I just kind of put them all together here. So I'm first going to put in a little dash of ginger. Oops. To that, I'm going to add a dash of allspice, a dash of cinnamon, and a dash of nutmeg. And that is your apple pie seasonings minus the cardamom. I just don't, put that in there. It's a little strong for me. Okay, I need to add a 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to put a pinch of salt in here, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and you heard that little popping sound. That was the cranberries already starting to pop. And I'm going to add another tablespoon of Grand Marnier. Now remember, I had the pears soaking in Grand Marnier, and I'm going to go ahead and add another tablespoon of it too there. Because you know it's going to be boozing up in here. Okay. And now the not seasoning, but the last ingredient that I'm going to put in there. I usually use orange zest whenever I'm using cranberries. But this time I'm going to use my orange peel. It's a nice little seasoning that serves in the place of zest of an orange. So I'm just going to go put this, I'm putting in there, that equals about 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm just going to stir this around, let this cook for about 10 minutes or so, or until those cranberries start to pop. And once the cranberries pop, the pectin from them is going to thicken up all this juice that you see down in here. See, it's very juicy right now, right? It's going to thicken up because that's what we're going to need to put inside of this. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so that, I'm sorry. That's what we're going to need to put inside of this dish that we're making today, okay? So about 10 or 15 minutes this should have set up. Okay, so this has been going for about 10 minutes, y'all, this compote. So what I have here is my masher, and I'm going to mash these. Mainly I'm mashing the pears down a little bit because I don't want it exactly mushy, but I want it to be really broken down a little bit more than this. And after I do this just a little bit in through there, I'm going to let this go about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to turn it off and put it into the refrigerator so that it can cool down before we put this dish together, y'all. Okay, So that's about all I want to do. I don't want to mash it like mashed potatoes, you know, but something like this. This is what I'm kind of wanting to do with it. See that? That's a big piece there. I want to mash that one. And that's it. It's about as much mashing as I'm going to do. 5 more minutes here. Okay, so this has been about 5 minutes and I'm turning it off. And you see how thick it is now. This is the way I want this compote to be to get ready for this croute that we're making. So see, it's not as liquidy now. It's more thickened. The pectin from the cranberries has done that. So what we're going to do is put this in the refrigerator until it is cool, because we cannot put it into that crust with it being this hot. All right? Now we're ready to get the crust part of this croute together. Okay, you know, croute, that's French for in crust. So I have my puff pastry here. I'm just using 1 sheet. Make sure you keep it cold until you are ready to handle it. So mine have been in the refrigerator for this time. So I'm just going to spread it out here on my parchment paper. Get it spread out there. And then you're just going to press your seams together. All right. Now what I want to do is take my pizza cutter and I want to cut these corners off to make it more circular to match the shape of our brie here. Okay, so I'm just going to come around the corners like so. And don't throw this away, because we're going to do a little something with these corners here. Perfect. Okay, so now we got this ready. We're going to get our brie together now. All right, so what we want to do with our brie is take it out of this paper. And so mine is harder now. So I had it in the freezer there so I can handle it a little better. So what we want to do now, you might already know, but this outer part of the brie, it is totally edible. But for this recipe, we're going to cut just a little shiver off this outer edge, just enough to get down to the inner part of the cheese so that it melds a little bit better with our fruit compote. We're going to cut it off both sides of it. Now that we got that kind of out of the way, you're going to take your brie and turn it on its side and just try to cut it right down the middle. And see, if it was soft, you wouldn't be able to handle it this way, because the Brie cheese is a very soft cheese. So I'm just going to go around, trying to make sure that I stay right in the middle of it. Okay, so there you go. We have 2 wheels that we're working with now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one right in the center of my puff pastry here, and we'll reserve this one until we get our compote in there. Okay. Okay, y'all. I put the pastry with the brie on it back in the refrigerator because I wanted to work with this for just a minute. Now, I tell you all in a New York second that I am not a decorator, but I have a desire to do this. I want to take these and cut these into like some leaves, little leaves to put on the top of the Croute to give it a more of a decorative look. So you'll see at the end, you know, how I'm gonna do that. So it's kind of like, I want this to have the shape of a leaf, you know, like that. And then I'm just gonna cut it here and put like some little markings on it. So when it bakes, it should come out looking like a leaf. And so I put the dough back in the refrigerator so it can get a little hardened so I can deal with it. So we're just gonna cut, hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting the end more like an oval shape kind of. I hope you can see that. Oops. Like I said, I'm not the decorator, but I have a desire. And you know, when you have that desire, you can get anything done. So that's a little bit more of a leaf shape. I'm coming down here, cut, see that? And I'm gonna do me some little, these on the side. Maybe a little something up there. And I'll just do that to all 4 of these so I can have 4 leaves, and then I'm gonna do something like this and roll this into a ball and put it in the center. You know, give it a little look. So here, we have our compote ready now. These pears and cranberries. So look at how thick they are now. It's not liquidy at all. So now we're ready to put this in here with the Brie. So what we're gonna do is take a big scoop of this and come right here in the center to get this this uncroute together. Look at that. And again, I tell you that the uncroute, it's French for in crust. So this is going to be the crust when it finishes baking. Okay, and you know, we do have some of this here, but this we're going to serve with the dish. So now we come and we put this one on top, right? And we're ready to now fold our dough over. All we're doing, we're coming over. So make sure it meets. Be careful with it because you do not want to tear your dough. Come on across. Meet. Let it meet. And let it meet. Okay? So it's all sealed up, the cheese there. Because if you don't have it sealed all the way, your cheese will ooze out as it bakes. And my oven is already warming at 425. Now what I want to do is take it. What we're going to do, got a little spot on there. Okay, a little burnt piece from my pan, I guess. Okay, so we're going to put it over on top like this. Y'all see that? And now we're ready to put our little leaves on top. So basically, what you see me doing is coming around, and this is just decorative stuff because you're gonna put it on your brunch table, your Christmas brunch table, a little party that you might be having. You want it to try to make it look as cute as you possibly can. So these are my little handmade leaves here. Nothing special. And I'm just putting them right here in the center so when it bakes, it'll have like a pretty look to it. It will be the last leaf that want a clown on the woman. So there we go. And then I'm gonna put a little ball in the center of it. So now we want to make a little egg wash for the croute to give it that brown, that pretty brown color to it. So let's just whip this egg, and I put a teaspoon of water in there. And what we're gonna do is just brush this down with it because we want us a pretty little encrust here. Or as the French folks say, in croute. So let's just brush it down all the way around here. I'm being a little gentle with my leaves. And this goes into the oven to bake for about 20, maybe 25 minutes, or until you see that it's golden brown. Okay, y'all, so there we have it. Isn't it beautiful? This Boozin cranberry and pear Brie en Croute. We're gonna let it sit for a little while until it cools so we don't have the brie oozing all over the place. Then we'll plate it up and get into it, y'all. Okay, let's let it cool a minute. Well, y'all, we got it done, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me in this Boozin Food Kitchen. This dish that we did today, it sings holidays, it sings Christmas. This wonderful cranberry and pear Brie en Croute was absolutely wonderful to make. It's a very short and easy recipe to put together, and you serve it warm to your guests. You put it on the table, I guarantee you they coming back for more. So y'all, again, thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate you like you just do not know. And I hope that each day you're still getting your peak on as I am. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of your way so you can go on and get this recipe done. Let me get a little taste of it. Y'all know I'm always gonna taste it now. And here it is. I broke off a little piece of it, and I kept a little bit of that fruit compote there because I wanna, dip it a little bit in there, and then you know what? The cheese and fruits and crust. Oh my goodness. One more bite, y'all. Mmm.